of the powerful Shun dynasty, she was afforded certain privileges. The garden was one. She'd always loved nature, and when she had first arrived at the imperial palace 3 months prior, she had been delighted to find her own private oasis. Her first day had been spent trailing her hand through the swinging willow branches, breathing in the lush fragrance of the abundant exotic blooms, and watching the colorful carp swimming in lazy circles beneath the water. She'd marveled at the pond, its surface a delicate green and dotted with lotus flowers. It had been so beautiful. It was so beautiful. At the time, she'd been touched. The prince obviously wanted to make her happy. It hadn't taken long for her to realize that that was not the case. Now that she knew better, Ying suspected the task had been delegated to his team of advisors. It is in the Empire's interest, they would have told him, to keep the future Empress content. He probably hadn't prepared her lodgings, didn't know how they looked or where they even were. He certainly never visited. And whereas back home her family was involved in every household matter, she'd quickly learned that the ruling dynasty distanced themselves from everyday, mundane life. The Shun family had servants for their servants' servants, each tier confined to their own set circle. No, it would have been a small inner group of officials who deemed it prudent to keep Ying happy. But, she thought, if they'd wanted to keep her happy, they would have allowed her family to join her. If they'd wanted to keep her happy, they wouldn't have confined her to her quarters. If they'd wanted to keep her happy, they would not have locked her door. Ying sighed again. 3 months. 3 long months she'd been kept here. And while the trees and flowers had lost none of their beauty, she now knew them so intimately, so well, that even with her eyes shut, she could trace each detail in her mind. She spent day after monotonous day staring at the garden's high stone walls, wishing she could take flight and escape. Pushing her sleeves up to her elbows so as not to trip over the draping fabric, Ying Yue picked up the feng tool, a concave mirror designed to collect moonlit dew. It had been sitting in her garden gathering dew every night for a whole lunar month. Considered the nectar of the gods, the dew was to be used to brew her ceremonial wedding tea. Balancing the large square in both hands, she turned to make her way back to her room. But as she stepped away from the pond, she heard a strange sound. She whipped around, catching a glimpse of something just slipping below the water. Her knuckles blanched around the edge of the feng tool. Once again, ripples marred the surface of the pond. In the distance, a warm glow spilled from the glass door of her room, but it was too far for the light to reach her. She should be going inside. She should be preparing for her hair-combing ceremony, traditionally held on the eve of a wedding. But something filled her mind, a silent song, reaching out to her from the pond. She couldn't explain it. After all, the garden was quiet, save for a few chirping crickets. As much as she tried to ignore it, something was calling her. The lure of the water was strong. Too strong. Carefully, she placed the feng tool down on the pebbled path, crept toward the water's edge, and peered at the surface. It was smooth again, reflecting the stars, the moon, the skeletal branches of the surrounding trees. And once again on the water surface was her face, looking pale and drawn and more than a little worried. It's nothing. Ying pressed a hand to her chest. Nothing more than her reflection. Surely it was just the stress of the impending wedding, the weight of filial expectations that rested on her shoulders. Her anxiety was getting to her. She was starting to imagine things. But then she noticed something. Something that made her heart pound, her palms grow clammy, her head throb with heat. Something was wrong. Something terrifying. It was her reflection. Yes, her reflection in the water looked exactly like her. Small, dainty cherry lips, big, doe-like dark eyes, a cascade of black hair tumbling over.